Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men, they couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fauci is rapidly becoming Humpty Dumpty out on that wall. And ladies and gentlemen, sooner or later, that wind is going to blow and oops, Dr. Fauci is going to fall. It seems everything we've been saying for months and months and months is turning out to be, of course, as everything else has turned out to be, true. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fauci knew about where the funding was going into Wuhan. He knew about the labs in Wuhan. In fact, we funded parts of those labs in Wuhan. The intelligence committee, the community, they know. The people are starting to wake up to the facts and the facade, the lies. They are crumbling down right before our very eyes. This is episode 149 of the American Reveille Podcast. And on this episode, we're going to talk about how the walls are coming down. Ladies and gentlemen, James Lane here, episode 149 of the American Reveille Podcast. And guess what? Looks like we were right. We've been right about a lot of things, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? We have been right about a lot of things. It seems we're criticized, we're ridiculed, we're buried, we're fired, we're made to be homeless, we're made to be impoverished. And then a couple months later, the left comes out and goes, whoopsie daisy, you were right, we were wrong, but you're still screwed. The little guy seems to always get screwed in this scenario. Ladies and gentlemen, the Senate has passed the Josh Hawley, Mike Braun bill. It requires Joe Biden to declassify the intelligence on COVID's origin. The veil is coming undone. The ribbons and the wrappings are becoming just sheer. They're sheer. They're like pantyhose. They're ripping apart. They're tearing apart in the wind. They're literally disintegrating, all right? Like the roof on a Lincoln Mercury after you were driving it through the 80s, through the 90s, and then into the early 2000s. The roof, you know, the head lining, the lining, it starts to come out, and then all that nasty brown, fuzzy, dirty, disgusting, that glue from the 1970s starts raining on you every time you drive. That's literally what is happening to the COVID-19 narrative. And what's going to happen when we find out the dirty, dark truth that China lied, the CCP lied, Dr. Fauci, the NIH, they funded the lies. They were hidden from the American people, hidden from Trump, hidden from us all. And now people are going to have to be held to account. All right. A lot of you are jaded. A lot of you don't think it'll happen, but I truly believe at some point in the future, whether it's in 6 months, 6 days, or 60 years, there's going to be a trial of the Chinese Communist government, a Nuremberg trial of sorts, if you will, since Xi Jinping himself is a dictator. All the deaths around the world, 95% of them, could have been prevented if the CCP released data and cooperated from square one. They did not. People knew about it. Dr. Fauci obviously knew about it. And now heads are going to roll. We have a lot to talk about in this episode. It's stressful. It makes your tummy hurt. But you know what's better for your tummy? All right. What's definitely better, at least, than Pepto-Bismol, definitely better, at least, than Tums, better, at least, than any type of over-the-counter tonic that you can get. Life Change Tea, ladies and gentlemen. They're the sponsors of this episode. Not only are they the sponsors, but I drink them. I've been drinking Life Change Tea twice a day for 3 months now, and I've lost like 20 pounds. It's not BS. There's no script in front of me. I'm not reading it. I'm not pretending. I've been drinking the stuff. They sent me it for free to try it. I told them I'm not going to let you guys sponsor the show unless I try your product. I've dropped like 20 pounds, guys. Look at this. Look at that. That's my rib cage right there, folks. That is my rib cage. Life Change Tea has been awesome. They have a website called getthetea.com. I want to show you it really quickly. Take a look. Getthetea.com. All right. Life Change Tea is fantastic. And if you use the promo code JAMES, JAMES, you're going to get free shipping and handling on any order. All right. Life Change Tea is phenomenal stuff. It really is. All right. Getthetea.com. Stick around for like 2 minutes after this episode. I put together a little video. It'll show you a little more about Life Change Tea. It'll show you how I make it, how I like it, how I drink it. Folks, Life Change Tea is pretty awesome stuff. I wouldn't let them sponsor this show, and I wouldn't sell it to you, because that's what I'm doing, right? I'm basically showing you this amazing product, and I'm letting you decide whether or not you want to purchase it based upon my personal experiences. I wouldn't sell it to you. I wouldn't show it to you. I wouldn't put it in front of your face if it wasn't quality and good and made in the USA and brought to your table straight through a reliable source. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's good stuff. It really, really is. And I hope you'll give it a try. Getthetea.com. Promo code James, free shipping and handling. And of course, guys, do me a favor. I want you to take a look at something real quick. This is Odyssey, ODYSEE.com. It's alternate video viewing platform. If that's where you found me, if you found me through the Odyssey link, do me a favor. Subscribe here on Odyssey. Sign up for an account. It's fantastic. It's really, really, really a great platform. It's like YouTube, but without any of the censorship. I really enjoy it. Look, I get more views on Gab TV. I get more views on BitChute, but I have a lot of faith in Odyssey. It's an offshoot of LBRY. It's a blockchain-based, that new blockchain technology. It's a blockchain-based site. I really enjoy it. Check us out there. Of course, you can check us out on Gab TV. You can check us out on BitChute. You can check us out on Rumble. Guys, it's easy to find me. You can either look for American_Reveille or simply type in American Reveille Podcast. Folks, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, leave a comment, and leave a message, if you will, if you could, with any friend and family that you know, any trusted coworker, any business that has not heard of the American Reveille Podcast, American Reveille LLC, everything we're trying to do to empower, enlighten, and entertain patriots across this great nation. I need you to bring it to their attention. Bring them the message. Be my patriot carrier pigeons. Be my patriot carrier pigeons, folks. I need your help. So like, share, notification bell, subscribe, and tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell everyone about the American Reveille Podcast. Guys, we've been talking, we've been blabbing. Let's start reading. This is an article I found from Breitbart, okay? Senate passes Josh Hawley, Mike Braun bill requiring Biden to declassify intelligence on COVID's origin. This is Christina Wong, May 27th. The Senate on Wednesday unanimously passed a bill proposed by Senators Josh Hawley and Mike Braun requiring President Joe Biden to declassify intelligence related to any potential links between the Wuhan Institute of Virology and the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. Just wait till they find out if that, and by the way, I was going to say just wait till they find out it's not a pangolin, but let me give you some backstory. Do you know what these lefty idiots want us to believe? They want us to believe that from 1,000 miles away, a creature called a pangolin, all right, it's like a cross between a duck-billed platypus and a friggin' armadillo. Okay, at some point in history, they did it and they made some babies and we got a pangolin. Apparently an infected pangolin. It made a 1,000-mile journey south from somewhere in like the hills of Mongolia or some craziness. And it bit a bat. Or a bat bit it or something. Some kind of interaction happened where one of these creatures bit another creature and spread some weird mutant virus, which was eventually eaten in the Wuhan market by the purchase, vicariously through the purchase of some infected bat. It's the most ridiculous. It makes the idea of somebody literally leaving a lab with a virus like an idiot much more plausible, because the friggin' cover story is ridiculous. The Virus Institute, where they do gain-of-function research, where they make super viruses, is like 5 minutes from the wet market. You could come out of the wet market with your pangolin and your bat soup and be like, oh, you know, because there's the frickin' Virus Institute, like right there. Like, you're out? Oh, cool. Wet market. Hey, look, big buildings, smokestacks, weird experiments. It's really that. I can't even. It's frustrating because they sold us BS and 90% of the country ate it up. But us patriots, us 80 million plus patriots, we know the truth. We know what's happening. We know what happened. And this just literally validates everything that we thought. Listen, not everything we think is true. Not everything that they come out with it has come to pass or is correct. All right. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists that float around on the far right and far left extremes of this, you know, what do you want to call it? Virtual battlefield, right? It is like, it's pretty much a battlefield of currency, a battlefield of brands, a battlefield on social media, right? It's at this point, you've got leftist terrorist groups attacking all these little small areas of government, right? Pressuring Biden, pressuring the left, pressuring the radicals in Washington to act. At the same time, they're committing acts of violence against the right and nobody's holding them accountable, which is causing a fire to burn. It's causing people to get very, very upset. We need to cool the fire. We need to stand up tall and do this honorably because the left's story is falling apart. That is what is happening, okay? Patience, my friends, patience. The fruit can only be eaten when the fruit is ripe. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the best lessons you will ever get in life. Quote, the American people deserve to know about the origins of COVID-19. They deserve to know how this terrible pandemic that has ravaged the globe and our country, how it got started and what China's role was in starting it, Hawley said on the Senate floor. Hawley, who first called for an international investigation into China's role in the spread of the virus in March 2020, noted that there's been an increasing speculation from government officials on the possibility of the virus originated from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Well, I think it's time that the American people got to decide for themselves. It's time that they actually got to see the evidence that the United States government has collected on this issue, he said. Braun called for his support for the bill, an easy one. He cited a recent Wall Street Journal report that said 3 researchers from the Wuhan Institute of Virology became sick enough in November 2019 that they sought hospital care, according to a previously undisclosed U.S. intelligence report. Undisclosed. Quote, the intelligence communities in our own country are storing information that needs to be revealed to the American public. It needs to be revealed to anyone who can look at it and make sense out of what happened. And what happened to a lot of those doctors working in Wuhan? What happened to that doctor that came out and blew the whistle on the CCP? They've all disappeared, ladies and gentlemen. The murderous, Uyghur exterminating, Hitler-esque Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party shows no mercy, takes no prisoners, and is bending the Biden administration and the American people over with no Vaseline, ladies and gentlemen. It's painful. It's annoying. We could stop it, but apparently we like it. At least Joe Biden and his administration like it because they're all lining their dirty little pockets. It's disgusting. Who disagrees with transparency, Braun said. It makes sense, right? Well, the whole left has been disagreeing. It just seems that some of them are waking finally from their woke slumber. It seems that some of them are speaking up to save their own skin at the last minute as they feel the Democrat ship sinking into the abyss. The bill would have to be passed in the House before being sent to the president. The bill's unanimous passing in the Senate came a day after Biden ordered U.S. intelligence agencies to do a 90-day investigation into whether COVID-19 came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. After his administration, said for weeks it would defer to the World Health Organization, the corrupt CCP infiltrated and manipulated, bought and paid for communist-run World Health Organization for answers. Democrats and mainstream media figures had previously criticized Trump's administration officials for suggesting the virus came from the WIV, accusing them of trying to avoid blame for the handling of the virus in the U.S. And what happened to any of us when we brought this up? What happened on Facebook? You tell me what happened on Facebook when Mark Zuckerberg's cronies got a whiff that you posted one little thing about the coronavirus that wasn't on narrative. We all got banned. We all got shadow banned. We all got put in jail, Facebook jail, Twitter jail, every kind of social media jail you can imagine. How many hundreds of thousands of people have been ripped and removed from the internet? How many thousands of people have lost their jobs, lives, wives, and careers? Ladies and gentlemen, this is no joke, except they are treating it one-sided, rules for thee, but not for me. We on the right are being punished, and the left is gloating. The left is smiling, and the left is growing weaker by the day without noticing, because this ultimate power is corrupting them, ladies and gentlemen. It is corrupting, controlling, and corroding the left, folks. They are withering. They are growing so hard in strength, so much in power. Listen, you ever see Guardians of the Galaxy? You remember how one of them couldn't hold the Infinity Stone? It would start rotting them away. So they all had to come together to have as much power as they could to hold the Infinity Stone so it didn't kill them, right? Listen. The Democrat Party has the most volatile Infinity Stone of them all, and no amount of radical leftist psychopaths can hold it in their hand together without eventually eroding away into dust, death, demise, and destruction. It is over, and they don't even know it. Their lies are falling apart, folks. There will be accountability one day. I promise there will be accountability. Do me a favor. All right. Have you checked us out on social media yet? Have you gone to Parler? I know Parler's been kind of sucky lately, but if you're still on Parler, I'm there. Find me, American_Reveille. Go to the description section. You can find all the links for the social media, for the video platforms, the audio platforms, wherever you like to hear your podcast, read your articles, get your blogs, get your updates, and find your entertainment, enlightenment, and empowerment. But Parler, that's at American_Reveille. Go to Gab. Gab is awesome. I love Gab. They are a great platform. They remind me of Facebook, but much, much, much better than Facebook. And I like green. Green's my favorite color. I'm also there as American_Reveille. Take a look right here. I got the blue check mark, by the way. American_Reveille. Follow me on Gab. MeWe. All right. That's a new big one. I like them. The chat box function's kind of annoying, but I think you'll like MeWe if you haven't gone there. That's MEWE.com. Join MeWe and follow me on MeWe. All right, guys. American_Reveille on MeWe. Look at that. That's me with my Jewish stomach drinking my Mylanta. I'm drinking Mylanta with a straw because my stomach sucks. Guys, it's important that we stay connected. It's important. It's so important that you follow me on social media. It's important you sign up for the newsletter. That's how you get the updates from the week of what we did from the week previous, of where we're going with the company, what we're doing across this nation, any kind of speaking events, any kind of new exciting announcements. And of course, that is one of the only places you're going to find the information coming up shortly in the next couple weeks for the $200 grand prize sticker competition. Rules will be out shortly. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be some social media hype around it, and I think you're going to like where we go with it. Trust me, I got stickers for days, ladies and gentlemen, and soon you will too. So do me a favor, go into the description section, follow me there, sign up for the American Reveille newsletter. All right, guys. And if you can, again, like, share, subscribe, comment, and send this out to everybody you know, ladies and gentlemen, everybody you know. All right, guys. And of course, if you're on Apple Podcasts, give me that 5-star rating. All right. It helps. It feeds the algorithm. It moves us up the rankings, and more people see what we're doing. We need the patriots across this country to get the American Reveille podcast in their dial. And I need to tell you something. The censorship wall is real. It's huge. It's real. It's like a tidal wave of left-wing cyber hate. And we can't get past it without your help. We need you to share. We need you to talk about it. We need you to contribute. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't over. It's not over, because the U.S. intelligence community, they've known about COVID. They've known it was a Chinese bioattack. They've known it came out of the lab. They know. And eventually there will be accountability. Fauci knows. At levels of the government, high levels of the government, these people have very, very large swaths of power. All right. A lot of things don't even get reported to presidents, don't even get reported to secretaries of defense or state or anything like that. They have to go through 16, 17, 18, 19 different offices, and they end up at dead ends. All right. It's a decentralized form of a centralized government where he controls. All right. The government will give the institute that he runs, they'll give it a ton of money, and then he controls where that money goes. And then you get a budget every year. That's how these places work. You spend a certain amount of money, you get a budget of amount of money, and then he spends it on certain acceptable criteria. And acceptable criteria to him is obviously risking the entire world by doing gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China. U.S. intelligence community already knows that COVID came from the Chinese biolab. Larry Johnson put this out May 27th. Dr. Fauci, you are screwed. Let's read. Why did the Biden administration suddenly reverse course and order the U.S. intelligence community to investigate the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic, especially doing this policy backflip less than 24 hours after the White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki insisted that any investigation should be done in an international organization? It can only mean one thing. New intelligence has emerged, confirming what many in the intelligence community knew last year, what many of us knew last year in the spring of 2020. Friends in the IC told me that the COVID-19 pandemic was the fault of the Chinese Communist government. I subsequently wrote about this on 13 April 2020. That's coming from Larry Johnson, the author of this article. And what he wrote, this is a quote from it. Apart from the complaints from both Chinese leaders and U.S. politicians in which each side blames the other for the outbreak and spread of corona, the simple, horrible truth, the global spread of coronavirus COVID-19 was a deliberate, conscious act by the Chinese Communist government to weaken the West, especially the United States. Now, whether it was intentional or not, it was taken advantage of by powerful left-wing radical entities across the globe. If you think problems are only occurring here in the United States, you need to start watching some other news stations around the world, folks, because riots, destruction, socialist chaos, and anarchy sweeping the land, hoping capitalism will fall and socialist, Marxist communism can rise from its ashes, fulfilling the Marxist dream, the utopia, the Marxist lie, the lie that will destroy our planet. Maybe that's why the frickin' aliens are watching us, apparently. Well, you'll wait till June for that. We'll have a fun report on that once the government declassifies all that nonsense. We'll see where that's going. But folks, we were talking about in spring, we said we were discussing this, folks. Patriots across the country were saying, what the hell happened? Trump was discussing it. Trump brought it up, and we were ridiculed. We were banned. We were poisoned and destroyed and smeared in public. The president was eventually removed from Twitter. And now what? They come out later, we were wrong, but you're still all screwed. You're still all screwed. Your tax bracket in general just doesn't have the right to, do better. I think that's what the left thinks for everybody that makes $100,000 a year and less, all the way down to zero. Your tax bracket just doesn't matter to us unless you're a Democrat with voting power. Let's keep reading. President Trump was hearing the same thing from the IC. He knew that some IC briefings, as did Secretary of State Pompeo, he knew from some IC briefings, as did Secretary of State Pompeo, that COVID-19 was not the result of infected meat from the Wuhan wet market. It was created in a lab under the control of the Chinese military. But Trump's repeated attempts to warn the American people were thwarted by many in the print and electronic media who conspired wittingly or unwittingly with the Chinese Communist government to quash the truth. They labeled Trump's claims as a baseless conspiracy theory, and we were all labeled as conspiracy theorists. Don't you remember? We're still labeled as conspiracy theorists. They still think we're crazy, but millions are waking up every single week. Folks, it was not just the media. We're reading again. Key members of the IC also pitched in to sabotage Trump's credibility on the matter by leaking to the media info intended to debunk Trump's claim about COVID-19's Chinese origin. Remember this? Now, this is a statement from the past as well. President Trump contradicted a rare on-the-record statement from his own intelligence community by claiming Thursday that he had seen evidence that gives him a high degree of confidence the novel coronavirus originated in a laboratory laboratory in Wuhan, China, but declined to provide details to back up his assertion. The comments undercut a public statement from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence issued just hours earlier, which stated no such assessment has been made and continues to rigorously examine whether the outbreak began through contact with infected animals, the pangolin, like I told you about, or if it was the result of an accident at a lab in Wuhan. You know, it's funny. Let's just look at this simplistically, like simple blue-collar cavemen and women. The pangolin was apparently 1,000 miles away. The Wuhan lab from the wet market was just like right up the road, right? Same city, guys. Same city. It's much more likely that some doofus accidentally brought the freaking virus out on their shoe, or some not so doofusy, unfortunate soul ordered by the Communist Party had to bring it out purposely. Either way, it's a much shorter distance from the lab to Wuhan, because the lab is in Wuhan, than the pangolin. That's 1,000 freaking miles. Whatever. It's so stupid. Go watch the South Park episode. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That the South Park episode, if you've seen it, and if you're heavily religious or you don't like shocking cartoons, don't watch the South Park episode about COVID with the pangolin. But if you've seen it, if you have traversed that bridge and you've seen it, the premise, the comedy premise of that adult cartoon is more believable than the actual pangolin story itself. And if you don't know about it, you can email me directly if you've got a strong stomach, James Lane at AmericanReveille.com. I'll tell you about that South Park episode. This is the truth, no matter how you'd like to slice it. All right. There were people when this first happened that supported China. There were people that didn't support China. There were people that had America's best interest in mind. There were people who didn't have America's best interest in mind. None of them could agree on anything. None of them could work together about anything. Everybody was so busy hating Donald Trump that the truth was just buried in our government. At the same time, the Communist Party did everything they could to bury the truth in their government and hide everything they could from us when they knew that we were locked down and unable to move, unable to flex, unable to make any sort of decision because of Washington gridlock. Plain and simple. We're dumb, hairless apes, ladies and gentlemen. Washington is full of dumb, hairless apes. Plain and simple. Human beings. That's what I'm talking about. All human beings were hairless apes. So everybody in Washington, they're a bunch of dumb hairless apes that can't get their own heads out of their own asses long enough to protect our national security. If you want the simple gist of it, that's the simple gist of it. Biden's request, we're reading again this week, for the IC to launch a deeper investigation presents a new dilemma for the intelligence community. If they admit that the Chinese government is responsible for the creation and release of COVID-19, they will be confirming that the CCP in China committed a casus belli. I don't even know how to say that. Casus belli. I keep learning new Latin every time I read one of these. Let's look it up real quick. Let us look it up. CASUSBALLI. How do you pronounce that? Is there like one of those word things for idiots like me? A casus belli. Can you say it? It needs to be said like cooler. You would expect there, you know what I'm talking about when they have like the little thing that tells dumb people like me how to read it? Maybe if I just click it and don't, oh, there it is. Casus belli. I think that's how you say it. Casus belli or casus belli. An event or action that justifies war. Okay, listen. All right, it's a good article. It is. All right. What's his name? Larry Johnson. I love you. You wrote a great article. I appreciate it. But you could have just said China committed an act of war. Anyway, let's keep reading. Not just against the United States, but the rest of the world. And there will be great pressure to retaliate. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying since the beginning of this when I said a Nuremberg-type tribunal. Xi Jinping's a dictator. The CCP, the Chinese Communist government, has world domination in their sights, regardless of how they have to do it. And when the world finds out the truth, the unequivocal truth of China, the CCP, their dirty, diabolical communist hands, their grubby little hands are in the mix, killing millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people around this world because they didn't open their mouth and share information with the world, because they were protecting the genocide of the Uyghurs, protecting their evil communist ways. Folks, there will be hell to pay. Hell to pay. It's going to take everything in this world's collective power to not fall into World War III. That is the absolute truth. You can quote me on it, and if you hold me to it, I'll be famous in 2 years from it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Nobody wants to be right about that type of stuff, but unfortunately, I am. And so are all of you, ladies and gentlemen. So are all of you. What if the IC decides to whitewash the matter? That'll be difficult to do. With the credibility of the IC now on the line, given the DNI's previous denial COVID originated in the lab, the IC, the individual agencies that comprise the IC, remember, intelligence community, are not likely to cover for each other. Any effort to suppress evidence will likely be resisted furiously. So all of the intelligence communities are going to sell each other out to save their own asses. You know how when you go to work, you live by CYA, cover your ass, right? You do what you got to do to make sure your butt is taken care of and your job's not at jeopardy. That's what every single person in the IC is going to be feeling and going to be doing. They're going to cover their own ass and sell each other out. It's going to be one of the greatest downfalls of intelligence in our history. What kind of evidence may emerge from this new investigation? We're now in a position to examine whether or not the virus was man-made. If the COVID-19 virus shows clear evidence of being synthesized, then that rules out the wet market hypothesis. Once you establish that COVID-19 was created in a lab, that's going to raise another question. Who paid for it? Dr. Fauci, who did pay for it? Will any evidence emerge showing that Anthony Fauci's operation sent money directly or indirectly to an organization that conducted gain-of-function research? That's just one question that the intelligence community ought to answer as it launches a more in-depth investigation of the origin of the spread of COVID, folks. The ultimate issue will be the question of accountability. What persons or institutions facilitated the creation and subsequent spread of the dead virus? Once identified, they must be called to account. With millions dead, it's likely to be an expensive bill to pay. And let me just put this out. Let me ask this one question. Let's put two and two together for a second. Dr. Fauci's known for gain-of-function research. In fact, he's like the czar, the king, the original OG, the OG creator of gain-of-function research, yet he has nothing to do with it. He controls the funding, and there's paper trails, there's evidence that shows plenty of funding went from his department to the Wuhan lab in China. I want you to think of a serial killer. I want you to think of somebody like a Zodiac killer, of a BTK killer, John Wayne Gacy, one of those guys. When you see a psychotic person, a serial killer, a personal, somebody that has like borderline personality disorder, major narcissism, the traces of psychopathy, or however you would like to call it, all right? I'm not Jordan Peterson. I do the best I can. Listen. Where do you find them? They're always sending a letter to the cops. Haha, you can't catch me. They're always showing up at the scene of a crime. You've seen those crime movies where there's some guy, they're like, oh, what happened here? Oh, that's a tragedy. Are you guys close to catching the guy? And they're talking right to the police, and they're the actual murderer. Dr. Fauci, ladies and gentlemen, in my humble opinion, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fauci is like a serial killer at the scene of the crime, putting himself in the best position possible. All right. He's the one that initiated all this. I believe he's going to be revealed to be one of the smoking guns that blow this entire thing out of the water. It might not be tomorrow. It might be in a year or 2 or 3. It might take a while. But I think Dr. Fauci is going to go down in history, all right, in history as a psychopath that literally sat in a seat of power right at the head of where the crime was committed by the serial killer himself. And the serial killer's initials are AF. Ladies and gentlemen, that's episode 149 of the American Reveille Podcast. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think Fauci's guilty. Let me know if you think we funded it. Let me know how you think the United States should be held accountable alongside being held accountable with the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, we don't want to punish ourselves. We weren't involved in it, but how does the government pay and how do we make out in the end? I want to know your opinions. Put them in the comment section below so we can have a conversation about it. Remember, Remember to like, folks, like this, share this, save this, talk about it, tell everybody about it. I need you to comment. I need you to hit the notification bell. I need you to spread the word about the American Reveille. I'm counting on you. I'm asking you for your help. All right. If you'd like to help even beyond that, all right, you can go check out our sponsors. The sponsor for this episode, like I've told you before, is Life Change Tea. They are an amazing cleanse. I've lost like 20 pounds so far. Stick around for another minute or two after this for a quick little video about Life Change Tea that I put together. You go to getthetea.com. All right. GETTHETEA.com. You use promo code James. That's my name, JAMES, and you will get free shipping and handling, ladies and gentlemen, on the best tea product for your colon on the market, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to cleanse the toxins out of you. It's gentle, it's natural, it's put together right here in the USA, and it's shipped directly to you. GetTheTea.com, promo code James, free shipping and handling. You know where to find me. You know where to look me up. You go to the description section below. All the links are there. Folks, if you can, I need your help, all right? Head down to the description section where it says donate, where it says support us. If you can please consider a small donation, either cash or crypto. You can do it through PayPal. You can do it through the links right on the website. I'll show you. When you go to support us, when you click the link in the description section, it'll take you to this page right here. You see right here on the upper left, the support us button. Right? That's a PayPal button. You can pick any amount. You can give me $1. You can give me $1,000. It'll all be used for the American Reveille LLC. I've put tens of thousands of dollars of my own money into this business, into this company, into this movement, to spread it across, to grab the narrative by the frickin' face and turn it into the direction we need to turn it to bring this country back to balance. But times are hard for everybody out there, and I can't put in as much personal money as I could before. I've got personal expense. I've got kids. I've got a lot of things going on, a lot of unexpected emergencies, all right? The computer for this business, it's slowing down. It's getting longer and longer to render videos. We don't have much in the coffers. We need to fix the computer. We need to upgrade our equipment. We need to expand our projects. I need to hire on some web people and some other folks to help get us to the next level. So I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. If we have a more professional setup and we're doing more across this country, we have more opportunity to bring in different sponsors, different relationships with other businesses, different entities that can come help fund us. But for now, if you can, please head over and donate what you can when you can to the American Reveille. Folks, we are an LLC. We're not a nonprofit, but we are going to use that money to do great things across this country. It's your choice. Of course, you can always just share. But if you can, if you got the spare money, please consider helping a great blue-collar, grassroots, locally grown patriot cause. Folks, this has been episode 149. I can't wait for episode 150, and I'll see you there. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, James Lane here, and I want to tell you about Life Change Tea. That's right, Life Change Tea. I have a pack of it right here. Listen, as many of you know, I've been working really, really hard to get back in shape, okay? I was thinking lately, right? And you should probably be thinking about it too. With how crazy everything is, with how unstable the government seems, with all of these socialists, all of this leftist insanity. You would just call insanity. Who knows when the hell I'm going to have to run, or when I'm going to have to, I don't know, save my family from something. I don't know. So I was getting fatter and fatter and fatter, feeling crappier and crappier and crappier. My diet was junk. I started by cleaning up the diet. I've been working out more and more, but I was still bloated. I was still gassy. I was still feeling crappy. And I finally decided to pull out an old trick in the book. All right. Something that I used for weight loss in the past. And I was thinking about a cleanse, right? Maybe take something that would help me evacuate my bowels a little bit, if you know what I mean. But you know, what I found was something different. I found Life Change Tea. All right. www.getthetea.com. I found this Life Change Tea. And instead of a 7-day or a 14-day cleanse, a 3-day cleanse, what they were offering was a daily tea, like a daily delicious iced tea, not some kind of weird hot tea or some kind of nasty tasting thing. No, this was a health supplement All right, I started reading about it, and they were talking about all these herbs, these ancient herbs, right? Look at this: organic blessed thistle herb, malva leaf, organic marshmallow leaf. I didn't even know what the heck a marshmallow leaf was. Apparently, it's for anti-inflammatory and antioxidants and stuff. I looked some of this stuff up. It's crazy. Milk thistle extract that cleans your liver and kidneys. I mean, there's all these different things in here, but I was happy. I was attracted to it because it was all natural. It was put together in the U.S., right? Obviously, they've got to get spices from these very special places. Not spices, but, these special herbs. They got to get them from special places around the world, but it's all done here. It's packaged, put together, and blended accordingly right here in the USA, all right? And I tried it, and it was delicious. Look at this. I'm old school. I fill a jug. You see this big jug right here? And for those listening over there on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everything like that, I'm holding this big gallon jug that used to be full of water. See those tea bags floating in the bottom there? This was full, guys. But I've been drinking it every day, twice a day, 8 ounces. Take a listen. Pour it in the glass. Oh yeah, that's not a sound effect. That's real. Look at this. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. And mabuhay to all my Filipino friends out there. I have the mint flavor. It's actually really good. I really like it. It's yummy. Look, this stuff's good. I can take that right now. I'm going to do 2 hours of podcast recording after this. It's not like me drinking that's going to send me running to the bed. It's gentle. It's good stuff, all right? So it's got all these herbs. They cleanse you out. They make you regular again. They clean the toxins out of your system. They help you clean the extra waste that's been stored up in the colon, the stuff that's not healthy for you, not good for you. It keeps the bloat down. I don't feel so swollen. You know, you feel like swollen sometimes, your fingers are. Yeah, you don't feel like that. It's gone. It's absolutely gone. So it's good stuff, guys. Listen, you have to go to getthetea.com, GETTHETEA.com, www.getthetea.com, www.getthetea.com. Promo code James, folks. Promo code James. That'll get you free shipping and handling. It's not expensive. It's good stuff, all right? It helps maintain your health. It cleanses your body from all kinds of toxins, all kinds of things that can cause colds and flus and different things like that. It keeps the bugs out real good. It helps your digestion, all right? Just like I've been saying, my bloats, I feel so much better, guys. I feel so much better. And just in this journey that I'm taking to get back in shape, I really feel like it's helping me immensely. It really is. I really think so. So try it out, guys. Life Change Tea. You just saw me drink a bunch of it. You just saw my almost empty jug. That's, by the way, like the 3rd jug. All right. That's not the first jug. Not the first jug at all. Trust me. It's good stuff, guys. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to thank me. All right. www.getthetea.com. www.getthetea.com. Get your Life Change Tea. Use the promo code James. Free shipping and handling. Thanks, guys.